today's episode of Two Open Doors, we sit with Sher Shah, a purpose-driven leader who has dedicated his journey to empower young people in Pakistan, building sustainable skills and turning responsibility into real impact. So thanks for being with us today. We are so excited to get to know more detail about your inspiring journey. So yeah, thanks for accepting the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Safa. I'm honored and so excited for this.
Yeah, we too. So let's start directly. But before, a quick reminder for people who are going to watch the episode on YouTube, don't forget to share this episode with your friends and colleagues. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us and help our community grow and get empowered. So we start with the beginning, Sher Shah, especially your background, academic background, let's say, with your studies. So you started with you decided to do a bachelor in political science and law, studying areas like sustainable development, policy analysis, communication, and economics. And then right after that, you decided to do an MBA with a focus on human resources management. I'm wondering what inspired that choice first to study to do the bachelor in this area of studies and also to continue or to follow with the MBA.
Yeah, thank you so much, Safa. So basically, the degree that I did was MPA, right? So it's
Okay.
a master's in public administration.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got it right. It's somewhere between the business world and the public or the social world.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was that, so I have done 4 degrees, right? Two
Yeah.
bachelors and two masters. And for me, simply, the idea behind all of these diverse degrees and studying all of these subjects was to get a multidisciplinary perspective
Mm-hmm.
into things. And this is something that helps me a lot in this development sector or in the climate space that I'm working, because at the end of the day, everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
And you should have some know-how of all subjects, I would say, of diverse things. Uh, for example, I studied law, political science in the first bachelor's, but then the degree, my main BSc in international development, it
Yeah.
had a more IR focus, geography and environmentalism and environmental politics and development management, so kind of sociology side to economics. But then the master's in public ad, because that was from a very good university in Pakistan.
Mm.
It's called Institute of Management Sciences. And at that time, I really wanted to be a civil servant, so a government job, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I wanted a degree that also teaches me how public things work, how government things work. So I'm really blessed and thankful to all my professors. Now I also know the government side of it. So although I'm working in the civil society,
Yeah.
but I do have a good idea of government bureaucracy, how it works, how to bring in change in government bureaucracy, studied subject like change management or labor laws or strategic HR and lastly recently then like my last degree was an MPhil MS in development studies.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a continuation of the previous in bachelor's in development. And
Yeah.
in all of these degrees, so I would have studied maybe more than 60 subjects. So
Wow.
diverse,
Mm.
like really, really diverse ones. So for example, one of the names of my subject was Complex Emergencies and Humanitarian Response. So this
Okay.
was the name of the subject,
Mm.
or global environmental problems and politics.
Mm.
This was another subject. So you can and also going through the basic like math, stats, and
Yeah.
for economics, right? So it gave me a very good worldview, bird's eye view, multiple perspectives. I do under when people from different schools of thoughts come together, say for a meeting
Mm-hmm.
or a conference, and there's a dialogue. So I can connect with
Yeah,
people
it
from
makes you
different
done.
schools of thoughts. So yeah, this is something that I would recommend to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually, if we belong to one discipline, so our worldview is like
Yeah,
very narrow.
yeah,
And if we look at other disciplines and try to reason between different solutions, so the whole idea is to find solutions that are acceptable to everyone.
exactly. And to do that, you
Yeah.
need to understand what other people are doing. That's the
What others are,
multidisciplinary.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's the idea.
that makes sense. Interesting. I will zoom in a bit to the MBA because I don't know if you subscribe to the idea saying that to do an MBA, you need to have a certain amount of a year of experience so that you can really take benefit of this MBA because it's designed somehow for people who are already into management of teams, management of resources, and also exactly the human resources. But in your case, I assume back then to 2012, you didn't have any work experience so far, but still you decided to take this decision. Yeah, here come my question. Do you subscribe to this idea saying that you need work experience to do an MBA, or in your case, it was worth it still?
I mean, for me, it was a different case, but generally speaking, I would suggest to different people who would be watching
Mm,
that if you are in your bachelor's, you should start your work experience side by side. I mean,
okay.
even if you have to go to a master's right afterwards, it's okay because your job experience or a career pathway or a side pathway is already running.
Mm,
Instead of, say, waiting for the bachelor's to complete and then the master's to complete and then going for a job,
mm,
so in my case, I was already into family businesses,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I was doing things even in while I was doing my bachelor's.
Mm,
So for me, the purpose of getting a master's done quickly and just fulfilling the requirements that okay, I am a master's now.
mm,
That was the main purpose, but also amassing this diverse knowledge. I was always someone who was after wisdom, reading books, reading
mm,
different things. So for me, this was satisfying. And at one time, when this 2012 MPA I was doing, I was also still giving the exams of my BSc. So there were kind of two degrees at the same time.
mm,
And these things actually, when you come out of your comfort zone,
yeah,
when things challenge you, they also shape you.
yeah,
Like, at that time, you just got me back to those years. It was very tough
yeah,
doing two degrees at the same time.
yeah,
And this one of them, the one from University of London, it was so new, BSc in International Development.
yeah,
Probably I would be the first one in Pakistan to do such a degree because
yeah,
it was recently introduced in 2010-11. I shifted my degree
yeah,
before I had a BS in Economics and Management, and I was like, I need to do this degree. So at that time, it was the era of the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, the ones before SDGs, right?
mm,
And by the time I finished my degree in 2015, the SDGs came. So I was someone who had to be attached with the SDGs because I studied them in my since the MDGs, like the
yeah,
history of development
yeah,
was also one of my subjects. So when people ask me why do you care so much about the SDGs or why are you working so selflessly for them? So they don't know that where I come from, right? I know what happened to the MDGs and what all these global frameworks actually mean
mm,
and which countries actually progressed following these frameworks and how we can learn from them. So the main idea is in whatever work I do to bring in social good,
yeah,
create an impact.
yeah.
Yeah,
So impact is the key word of your journey. That I
yeah.
already noticed while doing some research. While listening to you, one can notice that you really have an impressive academic background in different topics, either development studies, you mentioned also international development, etc. So Did you face any significant obstacle during those years of studies, and how did you overcome them so that people who are students now, either doing their master, their bachelor, might learn a bit from your intakes from this years of studies?
Yeah, one of the significant obstacles that I would want to share, and it can help all of our listeners, was that when I was done with this master's in public ad, we it was a 2 years, like 4 semesters full, and then the fifth semester, or how much time you take, was for research. So it was like a full comprehensive research based master's.
Mm.
And in those times, so when we had to do a research, I just didn't want to do any shortcut, because
Right.
a lot of students just go for a research, or just find a topic online and just try to copy paste, change it a bit,
Mm.
or even it happens they pay someone money and they just do the research for them.
Yeah.
So let's tackle this.
Hmm.
So my idea of a research was really different. I was like, no, if I have to do my first ever research of a master's, it has to be from scratch. It has to be something very meaningful, and so on. So I would like to highlight this incident. It was a very sad incident. Maybe you have also read about it, but it went like it was very serious. So an attack happened on a children's school in Peshawar
Okay.
in 2015,
Mm.
while I was doing this. Like I was preparing for what to do research on. So it was a children's school, and basically the Taliban attacked them, and it was a disaster. Like more than 100 children died, and it's called the Peshawar massacre, or the Peshawar children's school attack. Maybe you can Google it.
Okay.
So this really changed my perspective about what my research should be. So I was doing work in, so my degree is public administration. This
Yeah.
comes in my domain, even security things and all. But my specialization is in HR, right?
Okay.
So I have to do something which comes under public administration, but also it has to do with human capacity building.
Mm.
So I choose a very innovative topic. It was mainly into GIS and policing. So
Mm.
we need, at that time, it was like very new technology. Like even if we talk about this right now and someone researches it, it's very rare, happening very rarely in the world. But the good police departments in the world, like NYPD, New York Police Department, or LA Police Department, they're using it. And so I had to do this research on Peshawar. So Peshawar is where I used to live. It's the capital of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is the province touching Afghanistan. We have seen decades of violence because of the war in Afghanistan and so on. And this attack changed my worldview.
Mm.
So I proposed this research, and it was all about JS and policing. And when I go to my research supervisor, he's like, he was puzzled, right? He was like, "What are you talking about? What is GIS, and how will
Policy.
we do a research on this?" And like, it was so new for all of them. But I was still going on with it. Then I designed a survey, and I went to the policemen and women. And when I asked them about this, they were like, "What are you talking about? We're facing suicide bombings. We are facing daily this, that. Who would know this technology? What if they hack it?" And so many things that are called resistance to change,
Mm.
resistance to technological adoption, and so on. But so I faced a bit, in short, I faced so many obstacles that I actually, because of this, I missed the deadline to submit my
Ah,
research.
okay.
And I was then time barred, and it's a long story. But finally, after like 5 6 years, and we won a case from the university, and then the university asked that, okay, you can submit any other research. So then I did another research, like I left the GIS and policing part. But I would say the obstacle that I faced was of being, say, too ambitious for a place that wasn't yet ready to
Ah.
even talk about such technologies. So for the students, the listeners, yeah, do a good, genuine, authentic research from scratch, but also be realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
very important takeaway. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. You mentioned at the beginning of when you were explaining about your academic background that one of the things you learned from doing the bachelor, the two bachelors, or the MBA or the master is that you get this holistic overview about other disciplines, like this multidisciplinary thing, and you don't only focus on your own perception of things, but you get this perspective on things. How also this academic background shaped your own vision, your own leadership style? How do you see your impact into this world? Or maybe this was shaped rather by the work experience that you do on the field.
Yep. So our studies also shape us a lot, but
Yeah.
I would say also other experiences, some of the things that I really credit my dad for it.
Mm.
And that's so my father and my mother are both doctors, professors. So they
Yeah.
are the MBBS doctors, but they are also the teachers of those doctors. So they teach anatomy and biochemistry, right? They're professors. So they used to get summer vacations a lot, like, just like in educational institutions. And in every summer, they would take us somewhere abroad when
Mm-hmm.
we were even kids or as teenagers. And I would say two things shaped me a lot. One was like books or studies, right?
Mm.
But the second thing that shapes is journeys or experiences
Yeah.
or travel, I would say, right? So travel plus this has really shaped my worldview.
Mm.
This having tolerance or acceptance for diversity. This doesn't come without experience. So,
Yeah.
for example, if you're in your own ethnicity, in your own people, you become what we call ethnocentric. So
Mm.
you think about everything else from your perspective only.
Mm.
But if you travel around the world and you meet different people, then you would know that yes, the same thing can be viewed from different angles, and it's perfectly fine. You should be accepting different worldviews. So I would say yes. And you also talked about my leadership style.
Yeah.
So I do teach leadership as well, right? This was also one of my subject, by the way. But coming to practical leadership, you have to have the ability to get into any style of leadership because different situations require different leadership
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
For example, the autocratic leadership style, right? Take it or leave it, the one used in the military or in the army. At times, it also needs to be used with someone who wouldn't understand any other leadership style. But my natural style would be the laissez-faire style, right? The French word,
Yeah.
which basically means let them free or free for all type. And the idea behind this is because I believe everyone can do any job.
Mm.
They just have to be given that opportunity, maybe some skills,
Mm.
some responsibility, some supervision. Anyone can do anything, but just let them do it their way, and
Yeah.
they'll be more happy, and the job will also be done. So my main leadership style that I also employ in Skillistan,
Mm.
and all my students or my mentees, they would acknowledge this that I let them do according to their time zones. I just give them that passion of doing something and then let them do it. You know.
Okay. But do you feel like you need to intervene and to guide at a certain point? Because if you let people do what they want, sometimes they might do it wrong, or there is a more efficient way of doing things. Or so I get the idea that you let people do what they want because that's their own motivation, and then they can bring their own values and own personality. But when do you decide to intervene and to guide them to if you see that something needs to be done differently?
Yeah, so you have to constantly keep observing,
Yeah.
silently observing,
Mm.
right? And whenever you feel like intervention is now necessary, because if I get late, the damage control would be difficult.
Mm.
So at that time, you just have to intervene, but also not micromanaging,
Yeah.
like totally opposite of micromanaging. But management is there, right? If something is getting out of control, or your person is a bit new, whoever has been
Yeah.
tasked with the responsibility. So delegation of power, right? It does not absolve someone of responsibility. It's just that they are doing this thing in your supervision, and ultimately you are responsible. So you should intervene when it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I don't, and it complies with my earlier statement that I gave you, that at times you have to jump into any leadership style. So at this time, if you need to be autocratic,
Yeah.
if you have to fire someone, you have to fire someone then.
Mm. Mm. That's smart. You're not using one leadership style. You're trying to combine many aspects according to the situation and the person in front of you. So that's very smart. So we understand that the person you are today, the way you work, the way you lead, and your vision, it's shaped by both academic background and professional background. We already tackled the academic background. Now we'll take the professional one. You started, as you mentioned earlier, with a family business. You worked in your family in your business with your family as a manager partner. I was wondering because I put myself into your shoes, and did it feel scary or motivating, or rather in your comfort zone while you decided that I would join my family and work with them? How did it feel at the beginning?
Yeah, so family businesses are the comfort zone, I would say. And I definitely entered and wanted to be in my comfort zone while I continue my studies.
Yeah. Mm.
Because otherwise, if I was working for someone else, a 9 to 5 job, I wouldn't have so much time for studies. And at that time, I also wanted to do my studies and also give my best to the family business, because at the end of the day, it's money that drives homes, right? So I had to also contribute into that, and it was also a startup. So me
Mm.
and my brother, we wanted to do something for. So this place that we set up this factory in, it was an ice factory and a cold storage. Was my maternal grandma's village.
Ah,
And
okay.
at that, yeah, and in that place, the problem was mainly that in the summers, and there were a lot of Afghan refugees in that area too. So in the summers, even getting cold water was a blessing in that area. And the second thing, the idea of having a cold storage was again food security, or so that area, the north of that area, it is famous for the best citrus fruits, even in the world, I would say. So the best oranges or
Mm.
apricots, and most of the produce, I would say above 50%, and it still is the same. It gets wasted because we don't have a proper cold chain or cold storage. So again, the business idea started from a social thing, or that why is so much food being wasted.
Mm.
But during COVID, we had to close down that factory because of COVID. Yeah,
Mm.
there's no explanation, but just because of COVID, and many businesses were disrupted. But I moved on in the middle, like just giving a few years. Then I wanted to have diverse experiences. So
Yeah.
after having some, experiences at home, I would say in my own business, I jumped into a few jobs. I also went into the oil and gas industry
Yeah.
in 2021.
Mm.
And that would, I would say, I would want to highlight this moment because this is something really significant that happened with me. because this changed my direction. So
Mm.
there I was sitting in the fossil fuel industry in the middle of a plant, and I was a native of that region where the oil and gas is being exploited even as we speak right now.
Okay.
And I was someone who understood, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
had this education from across the globe, and you could not kind of you put me in a delusion that the oil and gas is doing something good. So and also that I was in the CSR section, right, in the development side. So the people whose job is to do greenwashing, that
Yeah.
okay, we are doing something good, we are pulling out oil and gas from your land, but we are also making a road for you or a bridge for you or planting some trees for you. But for someone who knew the numbers of the number of barrels being pulled out, or into money, and
Mm.
so this was a shocker, right?
Mm.
And I couldn't continue. Like some people still tell me that you left a lucrative oil and gas career. You could have been in that space, jumping from company to company, because usually they are the highest paying jobs,
Yeah.
even as we speak now.
Makes sense.
But the morals came in between, right? And this would definitely get linked to still what I'm doing,
Mm.
or my experiences into other volunteering spaces, or becoming a climate advocate, because I saw firsthand the exploitation of the fossil fuel industry.
Mm.
And mainly these companies, I wouldn't just be talking about my previous employer, all of the oil and gas companies, they're operating like colonialism used to operate, right? We have seen history, such as in the subcontinent, there was a company called the British East India Company. It
Mm.
wasn't even the British Empire itself; it was a company, and that company established the political power, and then later on the crown came. Like it was a century later that the British government directly came.
Mm.
For 1 century, it was just a company.
Yeah, business.
So things,
Yeah.
yeah, so things like that are still happening in the disguise of multinationals, or
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
So I would say this particular point in my professional career
Mm.
changed the direction a lot. Although I was into social impact and everything,
Yeah.
but this realization of my native land and people being exploited by the fossil fuel industry, this changed a lot.
Yeah. And I must say and acknowledge that that's brave from you to leave a well-paying job that definitely will bring a lot of prosperity to you and to your life because it's not in line with your values and morals. And someone who studies sustainability definitely would be against this, but still, it was a brave decision to leave this domain and to start other thing. And exactly, that's the transition because you worked later on in the green box as a project lead trainer. And then as a research analyst, followed by the research also in the you're doing with the UN volunteers and the World Bank. What was interesting for me is that each of those experience you spend like 6 months, 4 months, 7 months, like small, short periods. Was it intentional from your side so that you discovered different areas, or something else came in and you had to change quickly jobs? Let's say, yeah, those last four jobs I mentioned.
Yeah, so the idea was to try different places, do
Mm,
different assignments, but overall, I would say I was the kind of a person that that has a lot of problems with other people who are resistant to change. Like
mm,
wherever I go, like I work honestly, right?
mm,
And I do things on merit. and it usually lands me into problems with people because I cannot tolerate people getting their salary and doing nothing,
Uh,
or people just dodging the company or things like that. Or if I believe that my work or my time does not have the impact that I want to have, so I would be definitely switching. At that
mm,
time, I was of this idea.
mm,
And also from an HR perspective, so because we would have a lot of young students who would be listening, and I also have a degree in HR, right?
yeah.
So I would tell you the benefit of job hopping. This is called job hopping.
Oh.
The benefit of job hopping is that, for example, if I have to stay in one company for 2 years and then I try to decide to leave, I wouldn't get such a good job, for example, or a higher pay. So, because this company is going to keep me in the same pay for 2 years, right? But
Mm,
if I say spend 6 months in one company and then switch for a better job or a higher pay, and then 6 months in another company and then switch for a better job or a better pay, and maybe after this six months, like 2 years, if I come back to my same company, the one that in the first case I was spending 2 years in, this same company is going to hire me for maybe double the pay.
mm,
That in a regular way, if I had to do 2 years over here, they would have just maybe increased 10 or 20%. But if I do job hopping and even come back to this company, it's going to pay me higher. But yeah, some people also do a lot of job hopping. Like very soon, just complete the assignment or your task or the
mm.
project that you were given. Like, don't leave the company in the middle. That would be kind of bad in my standards. But yeah, there is all kinds of choices available to people.
Yeah, that's good. We are trying to review this idea because I mean my generation, we use it to think that I have to stay a long period in a job so that I'm showing that first I get adapted um, to the vision of the company. I know how to manage, and also I give myself time to learn, because if I quit quickly, it means either I couldn't adapt to the context or I couldn't learn sufficiently from the job. So now we are with this idea of job hopping, but you already explained very well. Yeah, you can do job hopping, but make sure that you finish the task and you did a good work, a good performance, so that when you leave, you can argue that I did something for this job, so that we can you can argue in front of your next employee why you left or why you are looking for a better position.
Yes, yes, you are right. Wherever you spend time, spend a good time.
Yeah.
Even if you have problems with some, and there are a lot of job place problems, job
Mm,
place harassments, job place bullying.
mm,
So few of my researches, along with some people, were also related to these things. So these are problems. They are real,
mm.
but one should try to leave a good mark in
Yeah.
whichever place they are.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. So after all those four experiences where you learned and you discovered different aspects, either as a researcher or a trainer, or a consultant also with the work you did with the World Bank, you jumped to a new chapter, let's say, which is marked with the Conference of Youth, either local or regional, with the job you're still doing with the working group. How this initiative or how this opportunity came to you, and what was your motivation behind joining such domain or such direction, working with local youth?
Yeah, good question. So the direction, I would say, just like I mentioned that COVID changed a lot, like COVID, because of COVID, we closed down our business. But because of COVID, something else also happened. And I would say everyone must be impacted both negatively and positively. So the positive part of COVID for me was that while I was there in the oil and gas industry, I even in the first, like I spent a year there, but in the first 1, 2 months, I realized that this is not my place. I have to get as much knowledge and wisdom from here, but I have to change my direction. So this is when realization hit me, and it was already COVID, so everyone was digital and things were turning quickly digital and everything. So at this time, an opportunity came while I was on LinkedIn. I credit LinkedIn a lot for this. I found out about the Movers program and that it was launching in Pakistan. And I
Mhm.
just jumped in and I was like, the SDGs are something I've studied and this looks like a good platform. And also, it has UNDP on its back. So UNDP Movers Program, I would credit for this. Then there came the opportunity of the YCAP Fellowship. So it's also a sister kind of platform to the Movers Program, but it has more stakeholders.
Mhm.
UNICEF is involved, and others also from the Asia Pacific region. So these experiences, then I would credit the OMLAS Fellowship, the 1 Million Leaders Asia Fellowship came next. And there I realized that now is the time I need to have my own platform. So Skillistan, it came out as my fellowship project of OMLAS. So when I was a fellow, I had to do a project. And while I was doing the project, I realized that okay, I've learned some things from movers, I've learned some things from YCAP, I've learned some things from OMLAS, and all the other experiences. And now is the time to do something of my own and something focused on Pakistan, but which can be scaled later.
Mhm.
So the idea of the word Skillistan, it means so skill is skill, right? Any skill. But Istan means land. So
Oh,
you see Pakistan, Afghanistan, Istan means land. So
nice.
this simply means land of skills. So the name or the idea, it's quite scalable. And this year I have plans. Last year we did our first multinational thing, I would say, and we chose the most difficult country to operate in, and that's our neighbor Afghanistan.
Okay.
Because Skillistan can also be easily expanded to Afghanistan and the Central Asian republics because the name
Yeah.
resonates well.
Yeah.
But anyways, we partnered with CYI, which is a women-led climate initiative, and we did a fellowship for Afghans only.
Mhm.
And in it, we had women and men, boys and girls, and it was very impactful. So yes, we are now scaling towards replicating this model of Skillistan. But yes, the start. At first, I really wanted to focus on Pakistan. And my pain point, what was my pain point?
Mhm.
So my pain point was that if you go to the Gulf countries, I'm sure you would have been to Dubai or some places. So there you would find a lot of Pakistanis,
Yeah.
a lot. So many, right? And this goes back to the history, right? We have to go to the 60s, 1960s, 1970s, when the UAE or all these Gulf countries, they found their newly discovered oil and gas reserves and they needed labor and cheap labor and someone from nearby. And we are so populous, right? We have a lot of population and we just opened these gates of migration.
Mhm.
And if we talk now, like 2025 or this decade, the fourth generation of those early migrants, skilled or unskilled, they are serving all these Gulf countries right now. So like if the great grandfather was there in the 60s or 70s, so currently the fourth generation is also going, and most of them are unskilled. So this
Yeah.
bothers me, right? This bothers me a lot because I think that if someone can get a good, decent skill in their own country and then even go abroad, like I don't have an issue with people going abroad because they send remittances and all. I understand the economics behind it,
Yeah.
but overall, it's more dignified to stay in your own country, have a good skill, maybe earn money online.
Hmm.
You know, you can earn money online just by sitting in front of your laptop or through any skill, even vocational skills. I would. So we have not yet ventured into vocational skills. What we are doing right now is digital skills and
Okay.
also green skills,
Okay.
sustainability skills. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, so much to cover here because you jumped from the work you've done with the what you're doing with the local and regional conference of youth to the this big chapter, which is one of the key components of our talk today, is the social entrepreneurship that you are doing with the work at Skillistan. So you paved already the way for me to jump here. Uh, I love the idea that you pick the name in a way that it can be upscaled to other countries, especially Afghanistan, and I'm quite sure that the work you're doing is quite beneficial for people there. I have no doubt about this, so that's very smart from your side. People who are listening to us, Sher Shah, and they don't understand what is Skillistan. Could you please break it down to them? What is it? What you are doing? What kind of services? You already mentioned digital and green skills. How people can join you? Do you have a website where people can subscribe to? How does it work for people to join you and to benefit from your services?
Yeah, thank you. So I did put some light on where it started. So it
Yeah.
started as a project.
Right.
Then for 1 year we were running it as a movement,
Mm-hmm.
and there were different volunteers, people joining in. But then we realized that no, we need some legal
Yeah.
registration to keep on operating. So since the last 1.5 year, it is registered as a private limited company. So it's a for-profit business registered. But we are also doing a lot of non-profit kind of work
Mm-hmm.
as well. So currently, we are doing it as our CSR, as our corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
And there are other plans too, but yeah, let's come back to the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly because we were a volunteering based organization, so most of the people who are running Skillistan right now are still volunteers, including me, getting maybe some honorariums, project-based salaries, things like that,
Okay.
keep us running. But what do we do? We do the fellowship. It's a very impactful fellowship. It's called the SDG Impact Leaders Fellowship. We've done 4 batches in Pakistan, and the fifth batch we will be announcing soon.
Okay.
Something like this we also did for Afghanistan.
Okay.
But what we want to do next is make this a global fellowship. So
Okay.
the next this is also on the cards this year. This is just one part.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that we do is we also organize events. So coming back to the Alcoy Pakistan, and what inspired me. So it was definitely my friends in the region, especially from Bangladesh,
Mm-hmm.
who organized their first Alcoys, and then the next year I wanted to organize an Alcoy, and at that time Skillistan was also launched. So Skillistan became amongst the leading organizers, and then for the second year too. So we do events too, whether the national level or whether smaller events. Then one of the main thing that we do is consultancies.
Okay.
So there are a lot of maybe things that are never mentioned in my socials. So but I do a lot of consultancies,
Yeah.
whether they are individual consultancies or organizational consultancies. So Skillistan provides consultancies. What kind of consultancies?
Okay.
Mainly in alignment of your business towards sustainability, or expressing your CSR in a way that it should be expressed. And then apart from this, we do a lot of collaborative or consortium-based initiatives with other stakeholders, whether they are big players or they are small players, or even if someone comes up to me and it's a new startup and they want to collaborate, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If there's even no money in it, if it's volunteering, because I don't measure success in terms of money.
Okay.
I measure it, yeah, in terms of the impact I create.
Okay. Cool. But also you do online and offline workshop for
Yes, and how can people join us? So we recently did a lot of volunteer hiring for Pakistan, and now we are setting up teams down to the district level. So
Okay.
district,
Yeah.
then division, then province, then the federal. So right now, I would say we have a good number, and majority of them are now trainers. So
Okay.
because we are doing trainings, right? And we employ this TOT model, train the trainers model, because I realized this very, in the start, even before launching Skillistan, from my experiences with these other platforms, that alone I cannot do much. I
Mm.
need my clones, people who can do the same thing that I'm doing. And this is what is working. So train the trainers and then they train more people. And this is something that is generating a lot of impact. And anyone can still join Skillistan. We have a volunteering form. Maybe it's so recently our LinkedIn Skillistan page got restricted. I don't know for what reason. I'm still in contact with LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And our website, yeah, we will soon relaunch another website. There was an earlier website, but I didn't really like it. It wasn't so user friendly. But yes, people can contact me directly on LinkedIn, and we can, integrate them into our teams. And also for the people who are watching us from other countries. So as we are expanding, so it's
Mm.
the right opportunity to get connected with us, and maybe we can appoint new focal persons for different countries. For some countries, we do have focal persons, like for China, we have, for Indonesia, and expanding. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting. So if I understood it well, you're a group of consultants who are offering consultancy and advice and making sure you work on collaborative initiatives. And there is also a group of trainers who are taking care of the training programs. Do you have an advisory or executive board that is taking care of the vision and taking the decision, or it's you who is taking care of all the exactly the vision aspects and what's next and taking the big stuff?
Yeah, at current, we don't have a formal executive body,
Yeah,
but I would say as any leader, we should also have mentors.
yeah,
And I do consult my mentors for anything. Like even people who have been my mentors ever since we started Skillistan, my coaches, my leadership coach, or the mentors from Omlas or the community at Movers. Like there are people that I rely on. I also seek advice from my colleagues, so someone so it's like I cannot do everything, right?
yeah,
I might have skills that you might not have, but you might have some skills that I might not have. And the best thing to do is use our skills for each other.
yeah, definitely.
And I have a new term for people who work at Skillistan, and we call them skillanthropists. So we have combined skilled people with philanthropy. So people who give not their money, but their skills
Okay.
to the benefit of someone else. So
Mhm.
that can be any skill, your time, right? Or your ability to present online. So
Yeah.
we just need those donations from
Mm.
people,
Mm.
not necessarily in the form of money.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, two aspects that I ask any entrepreneur we receive here at Open Doors. The first one is funding, and then the other one is hiring. The funding. Did it start with? Did you get some funds from the program project fellowship that you started with to found Skillistan, and how you make sure that it's running financial wise.
Yeah, so this is the problem that every aspiring entrepreneur has to face.
Yeah.
If the number one thing that is going to bother everyone, one, two, three, that would be funds, 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 right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, let's face it head on. It's difficult. It's difficult even for seasoned, experienced people,
Yeah.
but you have to navigate this scarcity of funds.
Yeah.
And there are ways that we can do diversify our sources of fundings. We did get our initial push grant from OMLAS, the fellowship, right?
Okay.
But
Mhm.
we also got a few more smaller grants working in collaboration with UN organs, and we did project-based work. We do consultancies,
Yeah.
right? From there, also revenue comes in. The fellowship, it's kind of self-sustaining. It's
Mm.
not uh, kind of doing a lot of profits. It's not for profit, but it's a charged fellowship. Like it's 5,000 rupees, Pakistani rupees for the 2, 3 months, right? And
Okay.
it's very minimum charge, like it's very less,
Mm.
maybe $20, right? And the idea behind not keeping it free is one that if we are dependent on some donors to run it,
Yeah.
it will not be our we will not be owning it so much because donors push their agendas, right? And
Mm.
I sometimes don't like to work with donors when it comes to my passion projects because I
Mm.
want my own things to be there. I don't want donor agendas.
Yeah.
I really want to empower people, so
Mm.
let me do it myself kind
Mm.
of attitude. And so the proceeds from the fee, they only cover the management of the fellowship. So it's a not-for-profit kind of thing
Okay.
happening.
Yeah.
And then events are there, we get sponsorships for it. So you have to diversify your sources of income,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say as an impact enterprise, like as a social enterprise, you do not measure your success so much in terms of the money you are getting,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of the impact. And this is one reason that recently now I am also creating a sister organization to
Okay.
Skillistan, which would be a purely non-profit. So donors, the grants and donors and all the social work side can also get the funds that are in the social space. Because
Mm-hmm.
most of the grants, even if you see all the grant opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
they want a non-profit or an NGO.
Yeah.
Like, as an enterprise, you cannot avail them.
Mm.
Although we also have some opportunities, but if I put them on the table, out of 100 opportunities, 5 to 10 would be for social enterprises. The rest of them are for civil society organizations, NGOs, NPOs, whatever you call them.
Mm.
But this is something on the cards, and I think it will help Skillistan get even more financially stable
Mm.
because still I would say because it's and the focus is also not on revenue so much. That is why I would say it still requires a lot of my pouring in
Mm.
as an investment into the future of this startup.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a good idea to do this parallel non-profit organization so that it can benefit and balance a bit the work of Skillistan. Coming back to the second aspect of my previous question is the hiring. When you hire someone, and here we can distinguish between hiring a consultant for project-based stuff you're doing or getting a trainer, because I think it's different. I might guess it's different. So what kind of qualities do you prioritize or do you look for while hiring a consultant or while picking a trainer for giving the workshops?
Yeah, good question. Because now the HR side of my degree comes in, right? This is the benefit of having so many degrees, I would say.
Definitely.
So when I do hiring from an HR perspective, I look at people's whole profile, not just their degrees. Like for me, LinkedIn is, and for all, because a lot of people would be watching, your LinkedIn profile is your story. And all of my HR colleagues, people in the HR space, they watch you, and you are being observed. So for me, what's important is a quick look at your profile, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of my time. I can find out if you are aligned with the organization or not. So HR people, they look at two things.
Okay.
One, if you are job fit, and most of the people are job fit. They can do the job. But the second thing that they're looking for is organization fit. And that is where usually people fail. So we look at both job fit and organization fit. And if I talk about my organization, because it's a social enterprise, I would be looking if you are passionate about it or not. It's not just the job fit part. Anyone can do the jobs, the consultancies, or the trainings that we are doing at Skillistan. But the difference that my employees or my team would have is they would also have the passion
Mm,
behind it. Even if they are not getting paid, they are getting honorariums or just the recognition for it or less amount of money in comparison to other jobs. They will feel better. They will be creating an impact. And I also seek people or find people who believe social impact is greater than money. So I get those people, right? And how do I get so many people? It's because I interact with a lot of people.
mm,
I would go to a lot of events. I go to, even if you invite me to some other company invites me to their webinar or to their leadership programs or anywhere. So I do get a lot of interactions with a lot of people, thousands of young people every month.
mm,
And so I do get a lot of people, but to filter them out, usually what I test is perseverance. So passionate also I see a lot of passionate people, but the next filter out thing would be perseverance. Someone who lasts, someone who stays. So perseverance mainly means if you can survive, and the people who stick to me for a long time, they also benefit a lot.
mm,
And they are the people who are following this pathway, right? They are passionate, but they're also, doing perseverance. And I like such people
mm.
who can work for the longer term with you. And also most of our employees, they would be like part-time employees
Ah, yeah.
because we do add project based or these kinds of things. So in this kind of in situation, you have to be in your person, the leader has to have a lot of, I would say, leadership potential to manage things, let them do their other tasks as well as not lose focus on this task. It gets a bit difficult, but the lack of, I would say, money doesn't stop us because the motivation part is very heavy when we see this balance of hiring.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Passion, perseverance, and also to be technically fit in the job. You highlighted the importance of LinkedIn, and this is not the first time someone came to Open Doors and say this. From your rich experience, what kind of advice could you give to someone listening to us to make LinkedIn profile attractive, interesting, and authentic? Because many people might lie and put fake stuff on LinkedIn, but definitely a good leader will detect if this is fake or genuine. So, what kind of advice would you recommend exactly for a rich, attractive profile, LinkedIn profile for people who might benefit from this?
Yeah, this would be a good way to maybe transfer some of my skills. So we also do
Yes.
a workshop on this. It's called Essential LinkedIn Skills. It's one
Okay.
of Skillistan's modules. And so the idea, I'll just summarize it. Your LinkedIn profile is your whole digital story,
Mm.
and it should be very authentic. You should post more often.
Mm-hmm.
You should engage with other people to show your authenticity. For example, Safa has posted something nice, I should comment on it.
Mm.
But people are really misers on LinkedIn. Like they wouldn't even give a like or a comment. And the reason is they think that the people are watching, their employers are watching, their future potential employer is watching, and they are very scared of openly expressing or engaging on LinkedIn. I would say come out of this fear, express yourself. That builds genuine connections, and just one connection on LinkedIn can change your life. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a student, you can find a research supervisor there. If you are an entrepreneur, you can find an investor there. Basically, the whole world is over there.
Yeah.
Now, quick HR perspective, your profile, your headline matters because usually HR people wouldn't have time to go through all your profile.
Mm.
So, your headline.
Yeah.
Then the about section, your summary. Maybe if some HR guy has time, they will read. Then your experiences, you should add as much detail to experiences, also add media, publications. Like your profile should be full, have a customized URL. It gives a good impression, a nice cover photo, a
Mm.
good professional close-up photo for your profile photo, and then just keep on posting and engaging. And so usually people ask me, what should I post
Yeah.
about? And I'm like, see other people who might be on the same level with
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
see what they are posting. Learn from observation,
Mm.
learn from engagement, and experiment. It's not like your first post is going to be so perfect. And also LinkedIn, people get dejected a lot. So on LinkedIn, you don't get so much likes or comments as in other social media. So people are like, they get disheartened. But LinkedIn is a long game. So you have to establish your profile, you have to keep posting. In the beginning, maybe you get one or two likes or not so many impressions. But if you keep doing this, I still remember I took a challenge in 2022
Mhm.
of posting every day. So there
Wow.
was a community that we joined on LinkedIn and we had to post every day. At times I would skip the post, right?
Uh-huh.
But the next day I would post. But this thing also changed a lot. I mean, at that time I used to think what to post about. Even I remember I would just take a nice quotation from somewhere and I would just make a post around it and do a post. But nowadays I have so many things happening. I barely get time to post because LinkedIn's post it should be nice, presentable, right? People are watching. But keep posting,
Yeah.
would be my advice. Keep sharing your authentic self. And whichever industry you are in, there would be things to post about, things people would like, your audience can connect to.
Mm.
And don't shy away from sending someone a connection request.
Yeah.
At max, they will not accept it.
Mm.
There's no charge for it. But if you like someone's profile, there's also an option of sending a personalized note along with a connection request. So use that. For example, if you are sending me a connection request, you're right. Okay, I saw you in some event or in a webinar, or I really liked your talk, or I think your profile matches mine and I can benefit. So write something, hello, hi, and it usually gets success
Yeah.
if you send an. So I would say yes, invest your time on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
learn from others,
Mm-hmm.
apply on your profile, build your connections. So if you would have seen there is one, two, and three written with connections. So this means if there is a two with someone, you have a mutual with that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So use your mutual connections in if you go to the circle, right? So for example, I have around maybe 19,000 connections or followers. So if you see my second, how much would people would there be who have a two written with them? So that would be in maybe a million or more.
Mm.
So I have access to more than a million people through my first degree connections,
Yeah.
and I can utilize them to get connected to anyone
Yeah.
across the world. So LinkedIn is basically the whole world in your mobile phone.
Yeah. Those are really useful tips, and thanks for summarizing them into one shot. This is very helpful, I think, to anyone who might listen to us. I agree. I use also LinkedIn a lot, either for my professional career or even for to open doors. I saw you on LinkedIn through a mutual connection, and then I saw, wow, he has a nice career journey, and he might be very inspiring. And then I checked your profile. It's a perfect one. It has a lot of information. You made the job easy for me to know what kind of image you want to transfer to the people, what kind of professional branding, I call it, I get from your post and your profile. So quickly I knew where I could put you in our talk, and that was so nice. So this is a very useful case also of using LinkedIn beside also looking for jobs and all what you described. So that was so useful. Um, we keep talking about Skillistan, and this time I'm thinking the training workshops are they for free, or people are charged to join the workshops that you are doing?
So most of them would be for free,
Okay.
some webinars, workshops, but then there are also the charged ones.
Okay.
Maybe basic charges just to fulfill the costs of, say, for example, a physical workshop. Because
Yeah.
online we don't get so much cost, but offline workshops they are costly, right? Even if you have to give tea or
Ah, yeah.
some
Yeah.
snacks
Mm.
or maybe physical certificate, a printed one.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do that. Apart from that, usually we uh, try to get some sponsors for it
Mm-hmm.
and through them if we could execute this and just be an implementing partner.
Mm.
But we realize this, right? It's a social impact enterprise, and we realize that most of the young people or the people who we want to target might not be able to afford expensive trainings
Yeah.
or sessions. So we try to keep it free for them.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Even in the fellowship, the 5,000 charges, one reason for it is to enforce commitment, right?
Mm.
But still, a lot of people reach out and they're like, "Sir, I'm poor," or "I'm an
Mm.
orphan," or many things, right?
Yeah.
And so I pay for them from my own account.
Oh,
Like I still, yeah, like in Skillistan's accounts, I pay there from my own pocket.
that's nice.
And if it goes beyond my capacity, then I seek philanthropists for
Mm.
sponsoring a few fellows. Maybe someone
Mm.
sponsors one, someone sponsors five, someone sponsors 10.
Mm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you mentioned earlier that you target digital skills and green skills. So I'm asking, when you design your programs, how do you make sure that they stay innovative, relevant, and in line, especially thinking about digital skills and with the fast progress of AI, of all what we are having now in terms of digital progress? It's really challenging to keep up with the updates and the progress in this field. So when you design those workshops, first you do it yourself or you do it with a team, and how you make sure that it's it stays innovative and relevant.
So the idea is to stay innovative and connected. One, I would say LinkedIn. You
Okay.
see people doing
Yeah.
things, right?
Mm.
And when you are there, you stay connected, you
Yeah.
observe innovative things happening in other countries and try to
Mm.
learn from them. Or maybe from your own competitors, you learn from them. From other stakeholders in your domain, you learn from them. But then also, I would say these interactive workshops help me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So our workshops are never like those old school workshops or webinars where I'm just talking and talking and others are listening. I make sure I extract innovation from my mentees, from my students. We go to breakout rooms and we brainstorm. Even in the team, like the core team of Skillistan, we discuss. There is a team behind all these modules, and trying to bring in innovation and changes and update them and with new data, with new things. Coming to the AI side, because the green skills part or the sustainability part, that is good from my educational side. But this digital skills part or the AI part is something that I am also learning.
Mm-hmm.
And this again, I would credit the visit to China, where we learned a lot because it was for startups who are on the brink of sustainability and digital. So we were the right fit for that. And from there, I learned that we need to do more in the AI space. We recently launched a project and it's about AI for SDGs. So what we are now doing is bridging the data gap for SDGs. And this is happening through AI and satellite imagery. So these are our
Amazing.
plans. And what I am thinking about, the skills that I need to transfer to other people in the digital domain should start from very basic intro to AI. One module is almost ready, and we are trying to do something around it, like launch it in a massive way, because we are taking AI for granted as well. For example, me and you or our listeners would be using it, but there are millions of people who have no idea what AI is or even what basic chat GPT is.
Mm.
So how to utilize these new AI tools? We are bringing modules around this and other digital skills too. So, for example, we have plans for this year to bring in specialized modules for, say, introduction to freelancing. Like, what are the different things that you can do in freelancing, or digital marketing, or e-commerce, or other skills
Mm.
in the digital domain. So the
Yeah.
whole idea is to make an individual, any individual, both digitally competent with a sustainability mindset.
Mm.
These are the people we need for the future,
Mm.
because the money is in the digital skills.
Yeah.
And also the green skills, there is money, but these skills we need for the survival of the planet,
Mm.
and also the green transition. So you see all these new jobs coming up, green jobs as we call them, or the current jobs now being pushed towards greener sides, and every company now wants to do something around sustainability or give an image that we are not destroying the environment. So every job, even the most normal job, is turning green. So
Mm.
greening jobs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So every person needs to upskill for this transition. And in order to upskill, you need these two things. In a
Mm.
skill pyramid, there is a skill pyramid. I hope I had a slide for this, but I'll try to explain it. You need basic sustainability skills,
Mm.
competence, but you also need digital competence, such as LinkedIn, such as AI, other skills. Third thing, you need good soft skills, presentation skills, how to talk, negotiate, and so many other things. And then the cherry on the top is to perfect some technical green skill.
Mm-hmm.
maybe ESG reporting,
Mm,
maybe some technical report writing or air quality monitoring or anything, right? So the idea of making individuals fit for the future of this green transition is to make them best of both worlds,
mm.
both or many worlds. Digital competence plus green skills.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm really the idea of making use of AI to get some data through satellite GIS, and this is so appealing, especially in data scarce regions, like when we talk about faraway places where you cannot really, first they don't have the equipment to measure data, so we have to figure out other solutions, which is satellite might be a very good option, although it comes with some challenges, but it's a very good way to go using AI and the digital progress to measure the SDGs in data scarce countries or areas. That's so amazing. You know, I still have a lot of questions because just a matter of time. I will close up this Skillistan chapter with two questions, although I'm very keen to know more, but maybe, yeah, we can do another follow-up talk in 5 years to see how it's going. Um, my two last questions in this area, let's say, what kind of advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who want to build a social company still with an impact and a social added value to the community based on your own experience and what you learned so far?
Yeah, thank you. That is a very relevant question, I would say. So I get a lot of people who, my mentees, who would reach out that they want to start a social enterprise.
Yeah.
But I would say some people are not yet ready for it. So there is a
Mm-hmm.
checklist. I wish I had that checklist, but you have to, whenever you are deciding to be an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
it might sound easy, but there are some things that you have to ask yourself. Number one, are you ready to face income instability? Because a startup's income is not stable at first. Are you ready to work late nights? Because a startup is not a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Are you ready to trust people? Because you are going to hire your team members.
Mm.
Are you the kind of person who, when people tells you that this is not possible and you still do it, you have to be that kind of person because you are also going to get a lot of negative things. You're going to get people who will say you cannot do it or this is not, you don't have the capacity to do it. There are all kinds of people. There would be motivators as well.
Yeah.
But yes, tough questions you have to ask yourself first. Then, once you jump into it or are almost jumping into it, it's not just passion. Passion should be there, but then you have to organize the whole organization around that passion, and your initial believers are very important. Your first employees or your first followers, you need to seek feedback and advice from your mentors and even your employees. Things like these are very important, but now that you've started, the first 2 to 3 years in the business world, we say there's survival part.
Mm.
So in the first 2 to 3 years, don't think about profits, don't think much about growth so much. Do see growth, but first 2 3 years, just try to survive,
Mm.
and doors will open if you keep knocking them, if you keep trying, if you keep raising funds, but also record your journey.
Yeah.
So because we are in this age of social media, right? Utilize your digital branding
Mm.
right since the start. This is my first advice to all aspiring entrepreneurs.
Mm.
Focus on your LinkedIn, but not just LinkedIn. If your business depends on the type of business, but you should have a Twitter X, you should have Insta, you should have Facebook, maybe even TikTok,
Mm.
because if the youth is on TikTok, so we have to be there.
Yeah.
Recently, I was there in some meeting and we were talking about this, that if the youth is on TikTok, we also have to be there, right?
Mm.
And serve them. So, to all the aspiring entrepreneurs, being your own boss, it sounds very attractive, but it's a very challenging journey. Few survive it, but again, I would say passion plus perseverance makes you a gritty person,
Mm.
and only the gritty people can do this. If it was so easy, everyone would be an entrepreneur, but it's not that easy. And also failures. So it's not that I was successful in my first attempt of entrepreneurship. I told you about the family business, but there was also one in the middle. We started an initiative. It was called the Sustainability Front. It was also a passion project, but it didn't work out,
Mm.
largely of partnership issues. So I do advise all the young aspiring entrepreneurs, choosing your business partner is like choosing your life partner,
Mhm.
like getting married decision. So do it very wisely,
Yeah.
because because if partners, they bring in their benefits, but when partnerships break, they're so devastating. Just like when families break, they are devastating even for enterprises. So if you find the right partner, I'm not saying don't trust people, but evaluate them first.
Mm.
Think
Yeah.
long term,
Yeah.
and test them whether they can be your partners or not. Just don't jump into partnerships for short term benefits. Like you see someone, oh, this person has a good digital presence, so this person would be good for my company as well.
Mm.
He can bring in some media influence. But what if, just for that short-term benefit of media exposure, that person is not a long-term person?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't do trade-offs for the short term.
Yeah. Definitely. This is very well said from your side and nicely structured. I really I was listening with a lot of interest. So that was the part addressed to young entrepreneurs interested in a similar path. Now my question is for young people in Pakistan. Since you've done a lot of work with them, you're doing still a lot of work within Skillistan, so you know what are the challenges of young people in Pakistan. What do you think they need to know from you or to listen in this show that will empower them more and will work them really progress so that you can achieve also what you are trying to achieve throughout Skillistan is to cut this labor migration and to empower people to stay in Pakistan, to serve, to give back to Pakistan. That's what we all want. So, what could be your advice or takeaways or inspiring thought for people listening to us?
Yeah. So for people listening to us, whenever you see someone who is there, who is up there, who is successful, always think that one, they have had a long journey behind this success,
Yeah,
and they had an equal fair share of their failures as well. It's not just successes. Rarely people talk about their failures, but I'm amongst the few people who also talks about my failures, even on public
yeah,
LinkedIn posts.
yeah,
So learn from your failures. Failures are there. Seek successful people, seek people who can advise you, who can, as Rumi says, set your life on fire and seek people who fire your flames, right? Who blow your flames. So I would say join such people, sit in the company of such people who keep inspiring you, who keep motivating you. And from me personally, I would say anyone can be in the place I am today, just with passion, dedicating a few years, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years it takes. It will take some time, but eventually, if you're passionate about something, you'll reach there.
Mm-hmm.
And always have this, give people a chance, trust people. It's not that be wary of people. I know there are a lot of wrong things happening too, frauds happening too, but don't be so negative. Be an optimist. Give people a chance. If they are not worth it, they'll prove themselves, and then you can just put them aside. But in this leadership journey, I would say you'll meet a lot of people, a lot of experiences, and carve your own pathway. My
Mm-hmm.
experiences can help you, but eventually your own context is different. So contextualize things.
Yeah.
Don't just have so much expectations associated to others. You rely on your own self,
Mm-hmm.
upskill yourself. I usually tell my students, and this is a concept that comes from the SDGs, it's called be a lifelong learner,
Yeah.
lifelong learning concept. So learning never ends. Even if I have done 4 degrees, I still try to read. I want to do a PhD, and so many things. So learning never stops, and learning from diverse sources. I learn from my students as well. So learn from diverse sources. Don't stick to one perspective or be ethnocentric, especially for people in Pakistan. Think beyond Pakistan as well.
Yeah.
Think out of the box. There is a whole world. Think beyond Morocco. Think beyond whichever country you are in, and try to understand things around the world. This worldview is going to help a lot. Try to get diverse exposures. Even if you cannot travel abroad, connect to people
Yeah.
from other countries online, converse with them, talk to them, build this multi dimensional perspective that we are talking about. So these would be all the few advices to anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to be a leader in the social space. Seek feedback. Yeah, feedback
Yeah.
is very important.
Yeah. Definitely amazing. You put them into a nicely into a very good bullet point. We have a closing signature picture that we like question, sorry, that we like to end the talk with. When it comes to professional growth and to career perspective, we talked about your academic and also a professional background. Now, how do you define success in this field of professional career?
Yeah, so success is again a subjective term.
Mhm.
Different people would define success differently.
Yeah,
For example, for the majority of the world, success is defined in terms of money,
yeah.
but I'm different, and I'm a bit radical in this thought. Like, like money is important, right? Money drives everything. Money gives you food and all. But beyond that, I don't think money defines success because I
Mhm.
see a lot of people who are so filthy rich, but even their neighbor wouldn't have any good words for them, right? So your social impact or the difference you make in the life of others is also a significant success factor. And thinking about this from an Islamic perspective as well, for us, being in this world is a test,
Yeah,
and the test would not be passed by the amount of money you have while you're dying. The test will be passed by the number of people you've influenced positively. And if we observe this human life, I think the most important thing over here is are human interactions, or what we call the rights of other humans on you. Because even Allah says that I can forgive, say, for example, if you're not praying or if you're not fulfilling my rights, but I cannot forgive the rights of others that you
Mm.
violate. So, first, don't do bad, but do good.
Yeah.
Do good to others as much as you can. And I think this doing good to others, this will get you fame also, because social entrepreneurs or people who do larger social good, they're usually more famous than the billionaires. They have, a place in the heart of the common people,
Mm.
and people trust you, people follow your pathway, people get advice from you. I think these are the success factors for me. But for anyone else, I would say balance this. Like, I wouldn't say no money,
Mm.
but seek doing good, social good, creating a social impact, and money will also come in. It will be a byproduct of your main social mission.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you, Sher Shah, for opening up. I know this question. I like to see different angles of defining success, and each time I'm amazed on how people see it differently. Thank you so much for all the useful inputs and beneficial information you shared with us today. I know that there are still a lot to unlock and to cover, and as I mentioned, maybe we can do it again in 5 years to see Skillistan how it's doing and all the new news from your side. I wish you a lot of luck. I was deeply honored to talk to you today. I enjoyed the talk. I hope you too. And thanks for
Thank
being
you
with us
so
today.
much to you. Yeah, you discussed some very important points. Also, I would say a lot of nostalgic memories from
Yeah,
my own journey also were highlighted, and how this whole journey went through twists and turns, and here I am where I am.
yeah,
But let's, yeah, utilize our skills so that others can maybe navigate this world easier.
yeah.
For us, we have faced a lot of hardships. Like, I would just like to highlight one main story from my teenage activism.
Sure.
So at that time, it was 2007, and we had formed a student federation. It was for my tribe, Bunga Student Federation, and those were very difficult times because the war in Afghanistan was raging, and our bordering areas were so bad, like there were suicide bombings and all. And my tribe, so Bangash, it has this unique thing that we have both Shia Muslims and Sunni Muslims. This is
Mm,
one of the unique tribes. And we are very tolerant amongst each other, even intermarriages and all. But this time period was so difficult that we were facing extremism, military extremism, and also this intersectarian divide. So we
mm,
came up with this idea of launching the student federation, and the idea was that we put up our tribal identity above our religious divides, and go to these different sects, and and try to build peace
yeah.
and sectarian tolerance and so on. So in that time, we wanted to do an event. It was 2007 in Peshawar, and we explicitly received a threat letter from the band Taliban that they're going to, bomb our event or something. But we still did it.
Wow.
We still did it in defiance. And when I think back on it, I was like, was I being brave, or were we being brave, or were we being stupid and, kind of vulnerable? But now I think that no, bravery matters. You have to be brave. You have to take decisions. that matter, and it changes a lot. So all those participants or the people, we got the courage in the face of such adversity, that even when I'm talking about now, I know the intensity of such situations,
Yeah.
but they shape you. Tough decisions in the face of adversities, they shape you. So keep doing the good things. A last message to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
At times, it might feel like it's the end of the world for you, but if you're doing something good, something for larger social good, you will always find people to support you. And the world still has a lot of good people. It's not like everyone is a greedy capitalist.
Yeah.
So let's keep doing the good things in our domain, whether small or big. To all the participants watching, you become leaders from the grassroots level.
Mm-hmm.
You don't become leaders on the global level directly. So start from your neighborhood, from your community, from your home, and just give it time and perseverance, and eventually you will be a global leader one day, sitting right
Mm-hmm.
along us or
Yeah.
in place of us, and
Yeah.
talking about how to empower others.
Yeah. I agree. Very nice words and impactful ones to close this interesting talk. Maybe at the end, I would encourage people to let us know their biggest takeaways from this episode on comments, so that we also learn from you and hear from you. Yeah. So thank you so much again, Sher Shah. That was a pleasure. See you
Thank
soon
you.
somewhere in this world, and best
Yeah,
of luck for the rest.
it's a small world again. And inshallah, we'll meet somewhere,
Yeah.
or maybe I can come to visit Morocco. Or
Sure.
if you ever get the chance
Yeah.
to visit us, I would be, honored to be
Thank
your
you.
host,
Thank you.
and show you around Pakistan. But yes, we can also meet maybe the next COP in Turkey, around the end of this year in November. COP 31 would be
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Maybe we can meet there. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can plan for it.
That's a
Yeah.
nice one. Yeah, I would love to. Let's see. Yeah, how things gonna come.
Yeah.
Thank you again, and have a great evening.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Safa, and
Thank
it
you
was
so
an
much.
honor for me to talk to you.
It was a
Allah
pleasure
Hafiz.
also. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.